So, Alexis, I am super excited to have you here today. I'm going to give you just a minute to introduce yourself, and then I will get us started.
Awesome. Thanks, Melanie. So my name is Alexis Cunningham. I am the digital marketing specialist for Anywhere Integrated Services. Our brand is obviously made up of close to 40 different brands, and I manage all of those accounts as well as the strategy, content planning, all that good stuff. So I'm super excited to be here and fill you guys in on some ways to better your social media strategy in 2025 and some tips and trends that we'll be seeing in the upcoming year. So thanks for having me.
And thank you again for being here with me today. I love having a partner on these things.
Makes it a little bit easier, right?
And a lot more fun, I think.
Yes.
So, if you don't already know me, my name is Melanie Dawn Molina Wood. I am the educational program coordinator for Real Source University. I am with Anywhere Integrated Services, and we'll talk about what that means in just a minute. But I do want to go ahead and welcome you. And I do want to go over a couple of important reminders, actually, like about 3 or 4 slides worth. First and foremost, for I would say the majority of you out there in our audience today, if you are real estate agents, that means that you are an independent contractor. And that also means that this is not required learning. You are not required by anyone to attend. And what that further means to myself and to Alexis, I'm sure, is that we are very appreciative that you are spending the next hour with us. And it will absolutely be our pleasure to hopefully make sure that you get some good information out of this. A couple of other things. I always like to bring up advertising guidelines, especially since we're talking about marketing here today. Please be sure that you are following, federal fair housing and all sorts of the, federal laws as far as marketing, and make sure that you're following as well, the realtor rules and the MLS rules as far as making sure that your name is on things of that nature. Make sure if you're doing any follow-up calls that you're following the do not call registry, and always look to the broker in the office that you are affiliated with for any additional either brokerage guidelines or hyper local guidelines. So bottom line is stay safe out there, everybody. Couple of additional reminders, as I promised. We are going to be talking a little bit about AI today. So with that, I do want to just kind of remind you that AI is a somewhat new technology, or at least what we're using it for these days. And it's not perfect. And more importantly, it is not a licensed real estate agent the way that you are. AI has no way of knowing all of those guidelines and rules and things like that I just mentioned to you. So always double check anything and everything that AI is helping you create. And then just a little bit more about the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. That was that do not call list that I just mentioned. If you are going to be doing any follow-up calls as a result of your social media marketing, just make sure that you are absolutely following those rules as well. So I promised a little bit about Anywhere Integrated Services. Who are we? We are a national family of title-related services. There's a little thing of all of our different brands all the way across the country. So this is a class that's being broadcast nationwide. You may be from all sorts of different states. I'm up here in Washington. We've got companies down in Texas and Florida. I mean, just literally all over the country. So whether you need, excuse me, title services, or you need escrow, settlement, even a few of the states that are attorney driven, we do have some attorney solutions for you in those states as well. So again, wherever you are, go ahead and take a look on our Anywhere Integrated Services website, and definitely reach out to your local title related services brand, and say hi to them for us. All right, let's go ahead and get started. What are we going to be concentrating on today? First and foremost is the top 5 social media trends. What are they? Okay, so what we're going to be talking about is AI powered content. I promised you a little bit of AI, micro influencers, short form video, user-generated content, that's a fun one, and social searches. And poll after poll after poll after poll, these are the trends on social media. So we're going to talk about each one of those, and we're going to tell you what they are. We're going to give you tips on how they can help your real estate marketing. And like I said, action plans that you can implement. Then that's exactly what you're going to find in that workbook. Share my email address. I will be happy to do that. Alexis, you want to put yours in? And then when I turn the program over to you, I'll drop mine in there as well. And actually, I apologize, Alexis. I am turning the program over to you right now.
Okay. Focusing here real quick. Okay, so thank you, Melanie. So this is going to be a dumb question, but can I control the PowerPoint now?
I think you have to click a button asking to share control. Let's see if I can do it from my end.
I mean, I'm happy to just let you run through it if.
Sure, whatever works for you.
I'll just tell you when to switch slides. You'll probably know when I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Well, so first to start off the conversation, as most of you know, AI is a huge thing in today's age. So what is it? Artificial intelligence. I think most of us on this call probably know that, but just a little bit of background. It's obviously the computer's way of helping us to it's us using the computer's brain to do some work for us and make content creation a little bit easier. So a few ways that we can use AI in order to benefit our social media campaigns. So first off is content creation, automated posts. AI tools can generate engaging social media posts, including property descriptions, market updates, client testimonials. And obviously this saves you time and ensures a consistent posting schedule. So that way we don't have to think as hard about our content. We can put some prompts into AI and then it will generate some ideas for us. And even like with using those property descriptions, just makes it a little bit easier for us and a little bit more efficient in our day-to-day lives. Personalized content. So AI can tailor content to specific audiences based on their preferences and behaviors, making your posts more relevant and engaging. As long as we know what kind of audience we're trying to target, this is also something that AI can help us with. Enhanced engagement. So chatbots, I'm sure most of us on this call has probably used a chatbot in the past. That's that little thing that will pop up and try to make our time on a website or platform faster and easier to get us to a solution. So it's an AI-powered chatbot can interact with followers in real time, answering questions, providing property information, even scheduling viewings. So that, again, takes a little bit time off of our plate, saving us some effort and gets to our clients a little bit faster than what we may be able to at the time. Interactive content. AI can help create interactive content like polls, quizzes, and virtual tours, which can increase engagement and attract more followers. And then we've got data analysis like performance tracking and audience insights. AI tools can analyze the performance of your social media posts, providing insights into what works best. So a lot of the platforms that we're going to talk about today have built-in analytics that we can utilize. We're not going to dive too deep into that, but it's something to keep in mind that whether we're using Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, there is an option to go back and look at how our things are performing, and we can take that data and put it into AI to analyze it for us a little bit easier. And then audience insights. So AI can also analyze your followers' demographics, interests, and behaviors, helping you understand your audience better and tailor your content accordingly. And I do see a question in here, how can we schedule posts automatically for future posts? So there's a lot of options with scheduling. So whether that is using an outside platform like Hootsuite, Sprout Social, a lot of those have a free option that we can sign up for. Or as I mentioned, like how data and analysis, there's built-in tools within the native platforms. Facebook, you can go in and you can schedule posts yourself. Same with Instagram, TikTok. Most of those have an option that we can actually schedule in advance. So if we're using AI to create a schedule for us, it's just simply taking that and then dropping it into those platforms in order to schedule. So we can provide you with links to those. Like I said, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, those are good ones that have free options, or just using the native tool itself. And then lastly here, we've got efficiency and productivity. So automated scheduling, kind of like what we just talked about. You can schedule posts in advance, and then content suggestions. AI can suggest content ideas based on current trends and your past successful posts, helping you stay relevant and engaging. So just dropping in some of the post ideas that you've seen success on, and asking AI to generate posts that are similar to those posts that you've seen success on recently. And so just a couple things to note. Melanie mentioned this, but with AI, we obviously want to make sure that we're fact checking everything that AI is offering us, making sure that it sounds authentic and more like ourselves. Don't just take what AI is giving you and just assume that it's okay. Make sure that you're proofreading. Make sure you're making it sound like you made it. So it's okay to take it, swap out some of the words or the tone in order to make it sound more like yourself. Because that human touch and authenticity is going to be the most important thing with posting to social media.
And on the topic of AI, I did want to just go ahead and insert here as well that we have another class. It's called Unlocking the Power of AI, a game changer for real estate agents. So if you're interested in this specific topic, definitely reach out to us or to your local title services brand and ask for that particular class, Unlocking the Power of AI. Ready for me to flip to the next one?
Yes, please. All right, so an AI-powered content action plan using Facebook. So by leveraging AI, you can enhance your social media presence, engage more effectively with your audience, streamline your marketing efforts, all sorts of stuff. It makes our day-to-day a lot easier. It not only saves us time, but it also helps in building a stronger, more recognizable brand as well. So just a few ways that we can do that is by accessing your preferred platform. So one free and easy example is using Copilot and Facebook business pages. So Melanie, do you want to run with doing an example?
We're not in the interests of time. However,
I know there's a lot here, so we probably, okay, sounds good.
But let me interject again, reach out to your local title services brand because we do actually have workshops that you can attend in person and hands-on do all of this stuff.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so just a few different platforms there, Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini. Most of them have free options or an upgraded option if you're looking to do a little more complex things. So those are just a handful that we can utilize. But ways we can use them, we can use them to input property details about a listing. So providing key information about that property, such as the location, features, unique selling points, and ask AI to build out a property description for us. Then we can also generate content, as we've been kind of talking about, ask AI to create 5 engaging social media posts, including catchy headlines, descriptions, and relevant hashtags. So this way, again, it's less work on our part. It can throw out a few posts. We can take what we want out of it, and then we can schedule that in advance. Leveraging Facebook-specific features such as Facebook Stories and video content. So there's a Reels feed, as most of us know anymore, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. TikTok is very heavily video, as we all know. So just making sure that we're taking advantage of those different options. And then stories. Stories is, again, just another feed, essentially, that we can get eyes on our content. And then engaging with your audience. So using AI chatbots to interact with followers in real time and responding to comments and messages promptly. That's always a must do. You want to make sure that you're present on those pages and engaging in real conversation with the people you have on your platforms. And then last but not least, we talked about this a little bit in the last slide, but analyzing and adjusting based on our analytics that we're seeing. So regularly reviewing a performance of our posts using Facebook's AI analytics tool and adjusting the strategy based on those results. And we can, again, use AI to help us gauge those things that we're seeing.
I just want to add just a couple of things real quick. We're talking about Facebook on this particular action plan. These action plans can be used, with minor modifications on any of your favorite platforms. So if you prefer IG, I know a few people said that, you can do the same things on other platforms as well. And a lot of the things that we're talking about here are again, suggestions. And that analyze and adjust, you're going to see that one on every single one of these. So
Yes.
find my cursor there. There we go. So again, exactly what I was said, things with the built-in AI that you can be using. I'll let you take it back over.
Yeah, so don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this just because that last slide is pretty relevant to all these, but just a couple of the unique things that each of these platforms do have. Instagram, it has augmented reality filters. So it's just a built-in AI tool that we can use on Instagram. AI suggested hashtags and optimal post timing for better engagement. Again, that's most of our platforms have that option. So don't think that's just Instagram. That's most of our social platforms anymore. Same with TikTok, video editing features and effects. It has a pretty advanced video editing software. So it's really good to get familiar with TikTok, especially if you're trying to get into videos. Check out their editing software. It's pretty advanced and they have a lot of options on there. And then trend analysis, you really see a lot of trends on TikTok. So making sure that we're keeping up to date on what we're seeing and trying to jump in on those trends where we can. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn uses AI for personalized content recommendations and audience insights. And it also offers AI-driven tools for optimizing post performance and engagement, like most of the other platforms do. All right. I mean, there's a lot here on this slide, so I'll try to, for the sake of time, try to run through it real quick, but just the AI-powered content success story. So this is Michaela Ewald, broker associate at Compass, successfully used AI to enhance her social media marketing and overall real estate operations. She was faced with challenges of creating engaging content consistently. If any of us are super relevant on Facebook, we know, or on social media, we know that that's a full-time job in its own, trying to stay in and rhythm with those trends that are happening and staying relevant. So Michaela turned to AI tools to streamline her workflow. So her strategy, some of the things that she did in order to do this, was utilizing AI content creation. She used a generative AI like Copilot to help with writing property descriptions, marketing collateral, writing voiceovers for her reels on TikToks and emails. And this allowed her to generate high quality content quickly and efficiently. She used it for social media planning. So just creating a strategy and content calendar. This included generating ideas for posts and conducting market research to tailor her content to her specific audience. Automated scheduling, that is kind of, we've hit on that a couple of times, so making sure that we're using those built-in tools in order to stay present and active on social media. And then results and key takeaways. Efficiency, AI significantly reduced the time that Michaela was spending on content creation and planning. And then consistency, you build a consistent schedule, again, to remain active and present in your client's eyes. And then enhance engagement. The high quality AI generated content helps increase engagement on her social media platforms, attracting more potential clients. So that is AI and Michaela's story.
All right. And Jen is saying she's already overwhelmed with information. And again, that's why we definitely want you to go ahead and download the workbook. I will post that again a few times. And pretty much everything other than the success stories is the information is in there for you. Yeah, we do know it's like a fire hose.
It's a lot, yeah.
All right. And so now we're going to be, well, first of all, are there any quick questions about AI? Just being overwhelmed. We'll leave it at that.
It's called
So
fun.
so let's go ahead and move on to, another trend in social media, and that is micro influencers. So I think we've all probably heard of, people like Kylie Jenner, perhaps, or Selena Gomez. I know Cristiano Ronaldo is a huge, what they call celebrity influencer out there. So we know the big ones. What we're talking about here are what we call micro influencers, and that's basically people on social media with a following of 1,000 to 100,000 followers. Now, sometimes you're going to see this broken down to micro influencers, which is about 1,000 to 10,000. But today we're just talking about the whole group. Excuse me, nano influencers is 1,000 to 10,000. But we're just talking about that whole group right there. And what makes an influencer? I would say number one on that list. Yes, Victoria, it is, and I'll post it again in just a few minutes. Number one on that list is going to be high engagement rates. Now, you'll see that we said engagement rates, not followers, because the key for an influencer is that they have to be influencing people. People have to be responding to them. So yes, you can look at a number of followers, but what you really want to look at is the engagement rates. A niche audience, I mean, that separates a micro influencer from, like I said, those celebrity influencers. They're generally hyper local, maybe a particular, even down to a particular city, which is kind of what you want to be looking for. And for our purposes, they're going to be focused in on real estate related industries. And we'll again talk about that a little bit more. And the authenticity. Pretty much their followers, swear by them. If they say drink this tea, that everybody runs out and gets that tea, or read this book. I mean, that's what we're looking for here. And they're going to help you connect to potential buyers just based on their following. And that's what we want to try to do. So how are they going to be able to help your business? Okay, again, those hyper targeted audiences, the people that you want to be in front of, you are going to look to a micro influencer to get you in front of that specific audience. And again, because they're micro influencers, they're usually highly local. The higher engagement rates, again, we've already talked about that. The trust and the credibility, these are the things that we want to be looking for. They already have a huge high trust value with their following. And when you collaborate with them, that trust sort of automatically shifts over to you as well. The benefit of micro influencers as opposed to, Kylie Jenner is affordability, all right? That's going to vary a little bit depending on, again, number of followers, amount of engagement, and that type of stuff. Follower count is probably, like I did just say, engagement rates matter more. But as far as what they charge, it's basically going to be based on the follower count. The higher number of followers they have, the more that they're going to end up charging. These are rough numbers. Please don't quote me to any micro influencers out there, but generally they're going to be looking for about $100 to $500 per post. Thank you, Allison. And so, you can kind of go with that in mind. Basically, obviously, other things are going to come into play. If they can demonstrate higher engagement rates, they may go to the higher end of that range. And it also depends on what kind of content that you want them to do. That will all affect the costs as well. If you're going to hire a micro influencer, a few things to be aware of is just like with our real estate contracts, make sure that there is a full agreement and that there's no additional costs afterwards.
And Melanie, will we be sharing this recording?
As long as you and I both sign off to allow it.
Okay, just Denise is asking that we go back to what a micro influencer was. That slide, she lost connectivity, but
okay,
we're able to share
we
it.
can do that real quick.
Okay.
So
I think it was the slide before this.
Cursor there.
Yeah.
This is what you were looking for, Denise. So yeah, basically, again, micro influencer, unlike the celebrity influencers we're most familiar with, they're running between 1,000 to 100,000 followers. But again, what we definitely want to do is concentrate on their engagement rate. All right, continuing on. So again, our sample action plan is for Instagram, but it's going to work for pretty much any platform that you want to use out there. The key thing is you need to know who your audience is before you ever start looking for a micro influencer. You definitely want to know what you're trying to accomplish, and again, what your ultimate goals are, what your locality is, what your geofarm is, whatever the case may be. You also want to know what you're trying to do, because there's going to be different strategies. Are you just trying to increase visibility for a specific listing? Are you trying to generate leads? Are you trying to just generate your brand awareness? Again, different solutions for each of those goals. Then you need to identify the right micro influencer. And there's paid ways of doing that, and then, other ways of doing that. I mean, you can certainly go out and take a look at, who has the followings in your area, or you can also use programs such as Mini Social, or there's one called Affluencer. There's another one called Moddash. Again, if you are interested, we can send you, links for all of those. We're not recommending anything in particular. But that's usually a shortcut to finding the right micro influencer in your particular region. And again, even, if you identify, 3 or 4 different options, make sure that you are taking a look at the quality of their content existing. Make sure that they are targeting or have followers in the niche that you are looking for. Again, make sure it's a real estate related niche. It could be a hyper local niche in other ways, but somebody who is an influencer in, I don't know, books, I mentioned books earlier, may not do a whole lot of good for you. But on the other hand, think outside of the box. If you are specializing in tennis communities, then maybe looking for an influencer in the tennis community might work for you. Same thing with a golfing community or a boating community. So it doesn't have to necessarily be real estate related, as long as it lends itself to the type of customers and clients that you want to work with. And then you're going to reach out to them. Key thing when you're reaching out, because they get, these requests day in and day out. That's what they do. You want to make sure that in your initial email to them, they definitely understand that you understand their business. And even though you're going to be paying them for this, you also want to be able to show them the value of partnering with you. So make it a win-win, just like we do with the buyers and sellers. We always want to make it a win-win. Plan the collaboration. Again, make sure that we are all on the same page is the bottom line. Set the expectations. Make sure you know exactly what you're going to be paying for. Creating the engagement. This is a collaboration again. Make sure that, you can definitely look to them for the guidance. They are an influencer for a reason, but make sure that it speaks to your brand. Make sure that we're not getting off track there. Promote and engage. So obviously we're hiring them to share, but we definitely want to make sure that we are also sharing all of that content. And when we're talking about that content and coming up with interesting things, a few things to kind of maybe jot down here. I mean, you can have the influencer do the virtual walkthrough or do the home tours on, on a video. Just having that person that has that high trust, trust with their audience doing the walkthrough for you can be very, very effective. You might want to have them create a video for you that is talking about neighborhood highlights, or, if they are, like I said, a tennis pro or something like that, talking about a particular neighborhood that has a tennis place right in there, or a golf community, something of that nature. A couple of other options to think about. maybe having an influencer hosted open house. They can come out and co-host that open house, and they can be live streaming it throughout. Just all sorts of huge different ideas. I love, lifestyle integration. Again, most influencers are talking about lifestyles in one way or the other. So they might talk about how this home that you have listed would be just fabulous for their lifestyle, things of that nature. Think outside of the box when you're doing that content creation. And did I say we're going to talk about analyze and adjust for every one of these? Absolutely. It's not a plan unless you follow up with those analytics. So where, again, pretty much anywhere. A few things. I love YouTube because it does have that long form content. You're able to do those interviews and things of that nature. Searchability. Again, Facebook is huge for just Facebook and Instagram because of the massive reach. They are fantastic for that community building and that developing a following. And then ironically, I mean, Pinterest is like the totally overlooked social media platform out there, but there's a lot of real estate agents that actually use it very successfully because it is such a visual thing. And 9/10 of Pinterest, if any of you have been on it, is somehow or another home related. Decorating for the holidays, or building your home, or redoing your kitchen. So it could be a platform for you. So a quick success story. Basically, this particular micro influencer was hired to highlight a specific listings appeal. And in this case, it was to tech professionals within the city. And so they basically helped Jason close that $100 million deal. They did a $2,000 investment total, and they came up with that plan, and they were able to catch the attention of their target audience and close that deal right away. So it was a great little success story. Okay, and I think Alexis, your turn.
Thank you. So our next trend is short form video, another one that we have been hearing about a lot over the last couple of years, and it's starting to take the world by storm, as most of us know. So what is short form video? That's anything that's less than 60 seconds. The sweet spot tends to be around 30 seconds because in the day and age that we live in, people's attention span is very short. So making sure that those videos are designed to capture attention quickly, it's short and snackable, we're delivering straight to the point, or we're hitting on one of those TikTok trends that we mentioned earlier, making sure that we're relevant to what's going on with other short videos. So some popular platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Hopefully you already have TikTok downloaded, because right now we can't download it. So those are just a few platforms that are super popular for video, and how short form video can help your real estate business. So increased engagement. Short form video has a feed of its own in most of these platforms that I mentioned. And so Facebook has the Reels feed, same with Instagram since they're Meta. YouTube has the YouTube Shorts. So now there's a whole different feed and algorithm for those short form videos, which allow us to have the potential for additional eyes on our content. We're not fighting with every other single post that's being posted. That's whether that's a static image, that's a job ad, that's just a regular status. It just gives us a better opportunity to reach an additional crowd compared to normal. And so that again that's the next, I jumped too quickly to the broader reach. So that pretty much captures that. But yeah, so and they also have a massive user base, and everyone anymore is attached to video. If you notice, most people they'll sit and scroll those shorts feeds for hours on end, which is not necessarily a good habit, but if we're not capitalizing on it, then we're definitely losing out. Brand awareness. So it helps in building recognizable brand content and quickly. So building that face recognition and association, tying that to your face. So when we're posting videos, especially when we're featuring ourselves, not just like our properties, It allows us to offer a better connection to our potential audience. So whether that's filming a video that's a day in the life of a real estate agent, or delivering informational content like market updates or neighborhood information, anything like that, like anything that features us as people is always a good option, just because it builds that trust with our audience and that facial recognition. And then lead generation, engaging content can drive traffic to listings and websites. So all we have to do is catch the attention of a video viewer, and then we can plug our website or put in the post copy a link to a listing, if we're doing a listing video, whatever works best for us. And then it's cost effective. So anymore, the algorithm is really prioritizing authenticity, as we've mentioned in just about every one of these trends. So not overproducing these videos, making sure that we're not going all in, all out on the editing stuff, things like that, like just making sure that we're filming raw, day-to-day, genuine content is really what that algorithm is leaning in on right now. So that's short form video. And then, so your action plan to take along with you. So defining your goals and audience. So identifying objectives and understanding your target audience. Melanie talked to this a little bit in the last slide, but really just making sure that we know who we're targeting. So if we have a certain area that we tend to try and sell, and making sure that we know what is that demographic, what's the age, and taking into consideration their interests, so that way we can best appeal to them on our social media platforms, especially with video, because we don't want to be wasting our time putting out content that really is not relatable to that target audience, because that's just clogging up your feed and other people's feeds, and they're not really getting what they need from you as an agent. So just making sure that we know exactly who it is that we're trying to appeal to. All right, and then optimizing your channel. So planning your content. So creating content themes with the help of AI. So so optimizing your channel. So okay, sorry about that. Let me go back. Optimizing your channel. So this is something really that's not just relevant to shorts, but making sure that we have high quality profile and cover photos. We want to make sure that when people click on our page, they know exactly who it is that we are. We don't want to have a profile photo that's 10 years old, and then if a client or customer meets you in person, they're like, oh, I don't even recognize you because your profile photo is so old. So just making sure that we have high quality, up-to-date profile and cover photos, writing a compelling channel description using relevant keywords. So that's something that we'll actually talk a little bit more when we get to our last topic, which is social searches. And then organizing your videos into playlists. This again helps with that visibility. So there's a playlist option in YouTube where you can categorize all of your videos. So whether it's a real estate listing or it's informational content, whatever it might be that you're posting, making sure that you're putting those into playlists, so that way when a customer clicks on one video, it will, automatically take them to more relevant content that you have posted within that playlist. Now we're at planning your content. So content themes. So creating content themes with the use of AI, just kind of going back to that, we don't need to do all the legwork ourselves. If we want to use AI for helping to build out those content themes, by all means, please do. And creating a content calendar, again, using AI. So 3 shorts per week is recommended. That's just something that we see is kind of like how people say, oh, you want to post every day. The most ideal amount, which I know it's a lot of work, 3 videos a week sounds like a lot, but if we're wanting to remain relevant in that algorithm, just trying to shoot for 3 shorts a week, and whether that spread again is maybe 1 listing video, 1 market update, and then 1 more user-generated, something about you, yourself. So whatever you find works for you as far as that content goes. And again, just making sure that we do lean in on AI when we can. And then creating high quality shorts. So making sure that we have the proper equipment. We want to make sure that our lighting is good. We want to make sure that we can hear you clearly. If you're going to film video, you don't want to be filming a video that has really bad quality, just because the algorithm does also pay attention to that. If they're going to prioritize a better quality video over a video that is lower quality. So just making sure that when you are filming a video, it's very clear, you can be clearly understood, all that good stuff. Making sure that you have a nice background, or again, if it's a listing video, just making sure that your camera quality is as good as possible. And then editing, so utilizing the editing software. YouTube has YouTube Studio that we can use. And then we'll talk a little bit about the other platforms, but all these platforms have different editing software that we can use, including ways to generate thumbnails and captions or titles for those videos. So I'm not sure if anyone on this call is this way, but I know I sure am. I listen to videos a lot of times not with sound. So we definitely want to make sure that we add subtitles if we're doing a lot of talking in a video. That's less visual and more of us providing information, just making sure that we add subtitles, because a lot of people anymore will sit and they will read a video before they turn their sound on to listen to it. So that's just another way, like if we're not utilizing that, we're just kind of losing out on some of those opportunities. Optimizing for search, using relevant keywords for the audience that you're targeting, and making sure to use tags and hashtags. So keywords is something that we've brought up a couple of times but not really hit on. That's just something we want to make sure. Yes, me too, Melanie. So keywords, just using things that are relevant to our business goals. So dropping in real estate, if we're in a certain area. So say we're in Miami Beach, making sure that we're plugging Miami Beach in our descriptions or on our profiles, tagging Miami Beach. If we can tag a location, making sure that we are tagging that location where we are. Same with hashtagging. People can click on hashtags and it categorizes those videos based on the hashtag that we are using. So that again is another missed opportunity if we are not using those tags or hashtags and keywords. Promoting your shorts. So give me just a second. I've got to catch my breath. Let me grab a drink real quick. Sorry.
While she's doing that, I do want to throw one more thing in here. We're talking about YouTube Shorts and the creation of YouTube Shorts. Don't forget that your long form videos can be broken into shorts as well. So if you've got a great long form, listing video for a particular listing that you have, reuse the content, break it down into little shorts where you're highlighting just the kitchen today and, just the backyard on Wednesday or whatever I think today is Wednesday, whatever. You got my point. So you don't necessarily always have to be thinking in terms of entirely new content, repurpose.
Yes, you are absolutely right. So because YouTube, you can post those long form videos, but taking those long form videos and creating that snackable content that Melanie mentioned is always a great option, because again, the less we have to think about things, the more time we can spend doing other things that matter. So just making sure that we are recycling and reusing content where we can is always a great option. And then as far as promoting your shorts go, so cross-platform promotion on social media. So we'll talk a little bit again about other platforms, but you've got YouTube, TikTok, all those platforms. Most of the stuff remains relevant across all of those when we're talking video. There are some trends that are not as relevant on others. And it is always good to keep in mind that every platform is different. So there are going to be some different things that you want to look at if we are doing any sort of cross-promoting. And then email marketing, you can actually hyperlink to videos within your emails. So if you ever want to drop a video in an email, if you're trying to promote a listing, and you want to send them to your social media platform or your YouTube with an actual video walkthrough, that's always a good option because some people are a little bit more visual than they are wanting to sit there and read. And then collaborations. So we can actually collaborate with other people and agencies within most of these platforms. So sending an invite over to those people to collab on certain content also opens up a little bit more visibility. And engaging with your audience, again, another one that we've talked about a couple times. So making sure that we're responding to all comments and messages and participating in community posts. So there are ways that we can engage ourselves in conversations that we don't always think about. You may think that just posting a status is the best way to get engagement on a post, but there are groups that we can add ourselves to in order to create conversation and also just chime in on other conversations that might be relevant to our business. And then we have the analyze and adjust, which I won't spend too much time on.
And Alexis, with your permission, I am going to go ahead and skip the next 2 slides in the interest of time.
Sure.
And let's move straight on over to user-generated content, okay? So what is user-generated content? The most obvious one that all of us, I think, as real estate agents will recognize are those reviews and testimonials. And it's a perfect example of having someone else sing our praises. What's also nice too, and we're going to think outside of the box a little bit with this user-generated content, is we just got done talking about how much time it feels like we have to devote to creating content for social media. The idea behind user-generated content is to let our audience do it for us so that we don't always have to come up with all of this stuff. So, having contests and branded hashtags and things like that are ways of going ahead and having our followers create the content for us. And there's some other benefits to this, building the trust and the authenticity. Again, we know from any kind of reviews and testimonials, having someone else tell everybody how great we are is far more powerful than me telling everybody how great I am. You got that. Increasing engagement. Again, if we get these conversations going between our followers and back and forth with us, then that engagement is what's going to be driving the algorithms to keep popping your name, your brand higher and higher and higher in the search findings. And cost effective. Again, if we're not having to spend the time to create, it works. And then I just mentioned the SEO benefits as well. I'm going to go pretty quickly through this, but I have to say, while we still have it, I love TikTok for exactly this type of thing. It makes it so easy. An easy one to do is to go ahead with their permission, written permission, share those videos of your satisfied client, but then go, take it a step further. You can do things like creating a YouTube, a TikTok response on there. So you've got the video of the testimonial, and then stitched to that, you're going to have your own personalized thank you. So now the rest of your followers are seeing that, that testimonial, but they're also seeing your reaction. And in fact, you can even do that as a duet and let your audience see you reacting to that testimonial right at the same time, and then inviting, your followers to comment as well. You can absolutely encourage your followers and your, past customers and clients to create their own videos. So, perhaps you have a listing out there where you are, talking about the fabulous backyard. That's like one of the key highlights of that particular listing. You can ask people to stitch to your video and, tell them what or tell you what their dream backyard would look like, or to show off their own, spa-like backyards, whatever the case may be. Make sure it's fitting with your content. Um, you know, again, making sure that you've got those market updates, and then inviting the responses, invite them to go ahead and respond to what you're talking about in there. Um, a few other things you can create like I said, the hashtags. Homes by AJ. I'm going to pick on AJ because I see you out there. Homes by AJ, and then you can ask your followers to to talk about what are the features that they're looking for in a new home. If they can have their absolute dream home, what features are they looking for? Hashtag Homes by AJ. Things like that. Invite that thing back and forth. Contests, best features, all sorts of different things like that. And again, analyze and adjust. There are some super successful programs like this that I absolutely love, and we'll talk about those in just a second. Again, what I love about TikTok in this regard is that amazing duet and stitch capability. But again, you can use all of these types of things on your other platforms. And then, of course, the Facebook and Instagram are great for having, when you get the client testimonial going on in there with your thank you added to it, you can then send that out to a very targeted paid audience as well, generate new business that way. Community posts on YouTube, again, very effective with this user-generated content. But here's some success stories, which I absolutely love. I definitely want to give a shout out to like Realtor.com's My Home Story. That was their branded hashtag. And I mean, it was amazing because they had all of these people that had just recently bought homes sharing their stories with Realtor.com using that particular hashtag. Zillow Home Tours did very much a similar kind of a campaign. Just before the holidays, I mean, I was watching a food brand in the grocery store. I don't remember what it was all about, but it was like they had their hashtag and they were like, go to our website and share your videos of you making this food. It was like anybody can use it and come up with these types of campaigns. That I do have to give a shout out to Coldwell Banker's Homes for Dogs. I loved that campaign. That was quite a few years back, but it's absolutely still one of my very, very favorites. Okay. And then, again, Sue Adler was a success story. She's a real estate agent just like you. And she was able to generate a lot of user-generated content by community involvement. She was, highly active in the community, and she was able to get a lot of conversation going on her social media because of that, with getting followers to share what they are doing within the community. So a lot of great ideas that we can do here. And then we're going to do a super duper quick challenge right here. We're going to take just barely 2 minutes. I want everyone to pull out your phones right now, because I know you're on them anyway. And I want you to whatever platform you want to use is fine with us, but I want you to please type a super fast post with one thing that you enjoyed about the class so far today. And I want you to add on there, I'm a social savvy RE agent, hashtag social savvy RE agent. And we're going to take a look later and see what everybody has shared. Glenn, yeah, we can do something like that. Usually we try not to, but I know there's a lot of information on this one. So just for you guys, because you asked politely, we will go ahead and share the slides. All right, continuing on, social search, you take it over, Alexis.
Good try. All right, social searches. So we just have a couple minutes left. And this one is honestly, in my opinion, the simplest one that takes the least amount of lift, really. So we should be able to get through it pretty quickly. So what is a social search? Honestly, it's just using social media like Google. More and more people are using social media to go and just do a basic search. Like, for instance, myself, when I get a phone call that I don't know, it sounds terrible, but instead of answering it, I go to Facebook and type in the phone number and say, is this a real person? So just more and more, that's what people are doing. They're using these social media platforms as search engines over Google or Bing or Yahoo. And so why do people prefer using social media as a search engine? So social media platforms offer highly personalized content based on user interest and interactions. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram provide visually appealing and easily digestible content, building authenticity and trust. So user-generated content on social media is often seen as more authentic and trustworthy compared to traditional search engine results. And social media allows for real-time interaction and community engagement, so making it a dynamic source of information. And so our action plan today is using Facebook, but again, can probably be cross-platform, used across all of the platforms that we offer or that are offered. So going back to, we talked about this a little bit, but completing your profile. So ensuring that your profile picture is up to date, your cover photo is clean and also up to date, your bio is professional and clearly represents your brand, and making sure that we're adding any sort of relevant keywords, like we mentioned earlier, like including the city and state that you're working out of, or even going down to the neighborhood, the agency that you work in, including your contact information, website link, all that good stuff. All of this optimizes your pages and makes it to where people can find you a lot easier, depending on what it is that they're looking up in that search bar on Facebook. If someone is looking up realtors in Miami Beach, if you have Miami Beach realtor in your bio, it's a lot more likely that you're going to pull up based on those keywords. Creating and sharing high quality content. So that, again, just the algorithm tends to prioritize high quality. So making sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity to be seen as possible. Making sure that we're trying to post at least once per day, but no more than 5 times a day, just because that tends to be seen as spammy by the algorithm if we tend to post too much. And then utilizing Facebook features, so Facebook stories, the Facebook Reel option, Facebook Live, Facebook groups, all of this allows us a different opportunity to reach broader audiences. So we just want to make sure that we're using those options since they're there for us. Promoting the content, talked about this already, but boosting your posts, cross-promoting what you can across social media platforms so that way we're getting the most juice out of every squeeze, and then analyzing and adjusting our content based on results that we've seen.
I like that.
Real quick.
Out of every squeeze. Okay. Since we only have just a minute left, I do want to go ahead and pop over here, and I want to hear from you. Number one, do you have any questions? And number two, what's your takeaway? What are you going to commit to doing this week to go ahead and use one of these trends in your real estate marketing on social media? What's saying to you? Drop it in the chat real quick. And with that, Alexis, I will let you say our goodbyes before we head on out. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, Melanie. Yeah, just thank you guys so much. And I hope this was beneficial, and I appreciate your time and getting the opportunity to speak to you guys. Have a good rest of your week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.